Hey everyone, today is May 15th, 2025, and I have just got my whole garden started. I said I was going to plant it the first week of May, but we waited to the end of the second week. Not really because I was worried about frost. I just wasn't around to do it, and I sprayed a ton of vinegar around last week. I wanted that to have some time to work and rain away before I would plant anything. So this year, I could have probably got away with planting my garden May 1st. We haven't had a single, even light frost all of May. It's amazing. Last year, we had a super deep freeze on May 26th. But there was a difference. The plants and everything recognized it was a colder year. See the leaves starting all over in the trees? We go back a year ago, the buds haven't even opened this time of year. So everything is like a month ahead, which is exciting. Today's actually pretty hot and humid. Feels like a summer day. But I'll show you what we got planted this year. So I use vinegar around here. That's why it's all dead. See, vinegar doesn't always do great. It weakened it, but it's coming back. I have yet to try it. This is cooking vinegar. It's not very strong. I actually just bought some cleaning vinegar, which is much higher concentration. I want to see if that works better. I'm sure it's going to work better. And I also want to do a comparison video where I take a patch of lawn. I want to use regular vinegar on it. I want to use cleaning vinegar. And I want to use Roundup. And I want to do a comparison of how fast they kill, how fast they come back. All of which are supposed to be inactive after 3 days and you can replant. But we'll see. So I refreshed a little bit of the dirt. I didn't have to buy any this year because I had a few on this pallet. I actually bought that mulch 3 years ago, so I better use it before it really starts rotting. I had to put down these slug pellets, which are safe for pets, safe for kids. In fact, a chipmunk comes around and usually eats them all on me, so we might have to relocate chipmunks again this year. I have a bunch of these pans here, which I was putting it underneath, so the chipmunk couldn't find it, but of course they burrow under and get it anyways. But I reapply that once or twice a week. Slugs are always a problem. Some people say it's because I have a lot of logs in here that are rotting, providing shelter for them. It's probably a little bit true, but we're right next to the woods, so they're never going to stop coming. There's always going to be an army of slugs here, but that is a sign of a healthy environment. In the city, you don't have many bad insects in a garden because everybody's literally spraying for them, putting chemicals on their lawn. See, my lawn is actually perfect. I have very little weeds, and I have never once fertilized, never once weed killed. I do nothing to it. In fact, it looks so green probably because I don't do much. People that mow their lawn every week or twice a week down really low, that actually helps the weeds. When the grass is tall and luscious, it's blocking the ground. Weeds can't root. They can't anchor themselves. Honestly, I mow my yard every 2 to 4 weeks. I don't do it every week, and that actually benefits a whole ton. Also, in the spring, I let it get almost knee-high because in the spring, it seeds itself. It grows seeds. Let it dry out a little bit, it drops its own seeds. And that makes the grass grow back extremely thick. I probably won't start mowing until June 1st, maybe even the second week of June. We're going to let it grow a lot, but I'll show you what I planted. These are all the tags I pulled out of the ground. I bought most of my plants from the store last year because we had to wait until June to plant everything. We have a head start this year, so I only purchased a couple. Most were starting by seed. See the ground right here? That's all going to be iceberg lettuce. It's not as healthy as romaine, but I like it better personally, and I'm going to be the one eating it. That's all romaine. Romaine. Right there, I'm not replanting because there's a bunch of carrots in there, and I think they're going to start growing again. Some people told me that carrots, if you let them go through the winter and start growing again, they taste completely different. We're going to find out. This is also carrots, and they have all started growing. Down at the very end, you can see onions started growing again because I didn't harvest them last year. Over here in the corner is asparagus, and those are the thickest they've ever come up. This is year 3. I planted them by seed year 1. I planted half in the yard, half in the house. In the house, they actually grew a lot. They attracted a bunch of little mites, but they didn't seem to be killing it. And the mites were actually creating what's it called? Is it honeydew? They create something that they offer to the ladybug as a treat so they don't eat the aphid itself, because ladybugs and Asian lady beetles, you usually buy them and put them in your gardens to eat the aphids, but the aphids will actually produce this secretion that they give to the ladybug in exchange for not eating them. So there was this sticky mess all over the floor. That's what it was when that was in my house. But a reason I grew half in the house, half outside, is because a lot of people told me in my cold climate it couldn't survive out here. Or some people told me it wouldn't survive the first winter, but then you could plant it out here and it would. It survived the stuff that was out here. It takes about 3 years before you can eat asparagus. It grows very skinny year 1, thicker year 2, and it's a perennial. It'll keep growing back forever. Every year it'll grow back thicker and thicker sprouts. Now that's strawberry right there. It likes drier soil. I'm hoping that'll take over if this edge of the garden fails again. This edge of the garden usually gets hardest hit by the slugs because it's next to the woods. But if it gets hit hard again, I'll just let the strawberry right there take over. We used to have a neighbor's yard. They had probably a 1/4 acre of nothing but strawberries. You'd always see the woodchuck in there eating. There was too much. The woodchuck couldn't eat it all, so it wasn't really a problem. But then the new owners just mowed it down. That was sad. They could have sold that for hundreds or thousands if they let someone on Marketplace come over and dig them all up. But right here that's a cucumber plant. Slugs are going to want to hit that hard. That's why I had to put all those pellets around, which are natural. It naturally kills the slug if you want to look up how that exactly works. It only targets slugs and snails, nothing else. Other things might eat it. Birds will probably start eating it. Doesn't affect them at all. The chemical used in that, which is iron sulfate, it is deadly to slugs and snails, but nothing else. And some of these cages I leave up just to... Birds don't like flying near those, even though they're not holding up anything. That's why they're just there. I have them, so might as well stick them in there. This is going to be a whole row of onions. I bought little sprouts, and I buried them all there. We'll set up the sprinkler timer as soon as I'm done showing you this. Over here on the other side, that's another cucumber plant. Maybe it'll do better with its roots under this liner. Oh, yeah, this garden is healthy. So our soil here is very sandy. When I first made this garden here, it was hard to rototill. It was very, very difficult. Rocky. Probably had to put 100 bags of cow manure here. Now it's healthy. This provides warmth to roots. It also provides moisture. It can't evaporate when it's hot. It's good. And it attracts thousands of earthworms. I could dig every hole with my hand. I didn't even have to get that dirty except for over there. I dug it all by hand. There's so many earthworms. It's so aerated. It's awesome. The amount of earthworms was insane. And now if you see a slug, make sure your hand's wet. Dip it in something before you pick it up and throw it. Because if you touch it with dry hands, the slime, even dish soap, won't get it off. You have to use like a rough sponge. I have a little bit of slime still on me somewhere. It was hard to get off. But maybe that'll do better with more moisture under there. So I'm trying one here. This, 1, 2, 3, no, there's not a third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these cages are going to be eggplant. Now, eggplant grows up, so it will actually maybe utilize the cages. I like eggplant. I'm going to try growing some by seed. Seeds are risky when you have slugs. One slug can kill your seedling in minutes. Back there, I have 4 tomato plants I'm trying by seed. I bought 3 pre-grown ones just in case. Back there where I had the eggplant last year, that's another strawberry plant. We'll see how that does. So I'm doing a lot less tomatoes this year because 2 years ago, every one of these was full of tomatoes. I was overrun, had way too many that I could eat. Everyone I tried to give them away to didn't take them all. So last year I grew half. This year I'm growing 1/3 of last year. And so today we just planted only 1/6 of what this garden was 2 years ago. We're trying different things, doing it a little bit different this year. We're also about to activate the electric fence, which is solar powered. You put it here, you hook it up, this goes around to all the fence wires, and this goes grounded So any animal that's standing on the ground and touching this at the same time gets zapped. That's how that works. And I have this wire that's kind of high here, so you scuff against it if a bear or something tries to step over that. But this won't help against a bear. I've accidentally touched that twice. Gives you quite the scare, but for a bear, they make special electric fences for them. The only way this is effective for a bear, they told me you have to rub peanut butter so they get it on the nose or something. Their fur is just too thick. If it wants to get in here, the garden's over. But we have bears all the time. They're always in the trash cans. They don't seem to want to go in the vegetable garden. I've never had a problem once with the bear coming in here. I've never had a problem with anything being in here except the chipmunks and the voles. Voles will go and they'll nibble the tops of the carrots, but they don't touch the green. They don't kill them. You just have to cut off the little bit of nibbles. So not as bad as a rabbit. A rabbit would kill them and leave the orange part in the ground. But at least these guys don't want the green. They just nibble a little bit of the orange and you can cut around it. So that's okay. Never had any bad pests. But I was saying they do sell electric fences that are so powerful, you actually have to put signs up everywhere that it's so powerful because it could kill a human. They sell them a lot out west where they have the grizzly bears. You have to have those around your properties. You have to have them around your decks, at the bottom of gates and stairs. Yeah, very powerful ones that you have to shut off when you open and shut gates. I've seen those in videos. They don't sell that around here. That's something you'd have to buy online, and I'm not interested in that. I haven't had any issues. And that strawberry plant is getting huge. It can't really spread because of the liner. That's why I planted another one over here, because strawberries spread fast. This area I have, if I bought maybe 12 plants, it would fill the whole thing in like 2 years with nothing but strawberries. And you know, I might start a lot more strawberries next year. I'm thinking I might rip up part of this and yeah, because some things like lettuce, they're just fun to grow. I don't really eat it, but I guess if it grows fast enough, we can give it to the tadpoles. And I'm probably gonna come over here with the last bag of manure you saw I have over there and put a little bit more on top of all these just to help keep moisture in. But we're gonna get the sprinkler now set up to its timer. I usually set it, I used to at first have it come on every night so it had all night to absorb into the garden, but a few people in my comments said maybe turn it on an hour before the sun comes up. Then the sun can dry out the surface of the soil, dry out the leaves. And yeah, that's actually better because the plants won't have a chance of molding or mildewing on their leaves if they sit all night wet every night. So it is a lot better to have the sprinkler timer turn on for like 20 minutes every morning instead of 20 minutes every night. This time of year, maybe for the next week or two, I'll have it turn on in the morning, and I mean at night instead before I switch over, just to get the seeds growing. I'd rather them sit in the sun a little bit longer, but we're doing good. This will look nice in a few months. So this year we'll maybe even have 5 months of growing season. Up here, we're only guaranteed July, August, September. We're only guaranteed 3 months a year. But this is a warmer year. We might get 5 like 2 years ago. Last year we did get only 3.5 or so before a mass die-off. All the dead plants I pulled out, threw them over there for the lawnmower. I leave all the plants dead over the winter. Then they're crunchy, you just smash them out of the cages. It's so much easier. I'm probably going to go in here and sweep this up, or it doesn't even matter. If you think it looks better, you can clean it up, but it really doesn't matter. If weeds start growing in that, it'll actually be satisfying the end of the year. You just peel it all up off the liner. It will actually look really, really cool. Over here, as far as the frog pond, water is crystal clear. Look at all that slime. That's all tadpole food. The tadpoles have all hatched. This is our warmest pond. Not as many tadpoles as previous years, but there are some tadpoles down there. Also the water skimmers. Even if they're not hungry, they'll still kill mosquitoes. So that's the good thing in the country, because you got all this biodiversity, and these don't become mosquito ponds because these things will literally kill mosquitoes for sport, even if they're not hungry. So I'm also going to set the sprinkler timer up in here, but I'm not going to turn it on until this starts noticeably becoming polluted, because when you turn that on, that's cold well water. The tadpoles develop faster if you keep it warm. That's another reason I'm not turning on the fountain. I could have turned that on a month ago. I'm keeping it off until pollution starts becoming a problem. Because right now, it's warmer in here. I turn that on, it's probably going to kill all the algae on the surface, which is food for them right now. So it's going to be another month or at least a few more weeks before I turn the waterfall back on and start doing all that good stuff. But sprinkler timer, we're also going to keep that off, but I'll have it set up so I can just simply turn it on. What am I seeing? Is that a leech? No, I think it's just a stick. I have found leeches in my ponds, because things like leeches, just like frogs, when it's cold, no, when it's wet out at night, they'll crawl across the land and they'll find new spots. But this is cool. Look at the slime. There's grass growing in the slime. That's how a bog starts. That grass will get thicker and thicker. It'll create a little island where bushes can start growing. Look at this. This is all, it's trying to form a bog. That's pretty cool. Floating island. And it might actually be able to successfully do it over here, away from the fountain. But that's pretty cool. Look, the cattails are growing in there. Cattails are great at absorbing pollutants, so that's why we have a ton of them. We also have a bunch of them up inside here. And the frog will like this bushy area. They got the hosta coming up here, lots of shaded areas to hide. And when I mow the lawn, I don't mow within a foot of the pond. I leave a good barrier here for frogs to hide in from predators. They love these logs I put in here. They love that. The little teeny tree down there survived. I don't know about the little teeny maple tree. It looks like it's got buds, but will it open? I don't know. It seems behind at this point, but we're gonna find out. We'll have more frog videos coming soon. Give it like a month. Not too eventful this year. We had mass amounts of frogs 2 years ago and a pretty good amount last year, but you create a lot of frogs, you create a lot of snakes. You create a lot of snakes, we have a lot more large birds of prey now in the area. It balances itself out. Oh, we have a salamander. Look at that. See it? Got a salamander. That's pretty cool too. We actually had a lot of really big, they get like 10 inches long, spotted salamanders were laying eggs in here too a couple weeks ago. Frog mating season's already over. Pretty cool. But these garden videos, I appreciate the people that watch them. I know they don't get as many views, so I'll probably mention something in this video. Some people might know that I've been out for a little bit. I've had to have a couple of surgeries. So that's actually the main reason I only took that seasonal job at the logging company, just to make a little bit of extra money. I had a couple of surgeries and I feel a lot better. I needed to have a couple gum grafting surgeries, made me feel a lot better. It actually was hurting to talk for the past year or two. That's why a lot of people would say in camping videos, why are you breaking your food up? Why aren't you biting into it? It was painful, and you know what? All that pain is gone. I just needed I had one surgery for that. I have another surgery for that coming soon, and I was able to finally pay for it. And in the next couple of years, I'm gonna probably need knee surgery. They say my cartilage is getting low. Even though I'm only 24, yep, that can still happen to you. And my doctor seems to think it was because as a teenager I was on antibiotics for like 2 years straight. Dermatologist put me on that for 2 years straight for acne as a teenager, and they think that caused cartilage damage with me. It usually is only a hurting problem when it's colder out, but I'm starting to get irritation when I'm, even now in the summer. It's probably because I've been spending between 8 and 12 hours of driving a day. Like, that's my driving leg. That is starting to hurt from that. But the seasonal job's over. Mud season cleared up faster than expected. Didn't even go into June, but that was pretty fun. Getting paid for what I like to do, even if it was just for a few months, and I'll probably do it again next year too. I have the option to do it all summer, but I'd rather do my regular things. But that's why the main reason if anyone was wondering, because I had a few comments saying that I was a sellout, because I'm pretty sure I've said in videos I would never actually work for a company. But that's a private company. I had a lot of freedom. I was allowed to film whatever I wanted, was allowed to choose my own hours. So that was a lot of freedom in that. And I had to do it for money. If you think I'm a sellout for that, taking care of my own health, then, oh well, that's on you. You must have a sad life if you think I'm a sellout for taking care of my own health instead of suffering. But I'm going to try to get that done in the next 2 years. You don't want to know what that's going to cost. But I'm going to save up for it. And I appreciate everyone that watches my videos to the end. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.